In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the coolant temperature sensor on this Dodge Ram 2500 with the 5.7 liter Hemi engine. We're going to have to remove the AC compressor for this, but you do not have to discharge the system. Let's get started. With a 3/8 drive ratchet, I'm going to stick it onto the tensioner and then remove the belt just off of the AC compressor. You don't necessarily have to remove the whole belt. Turn counterclockwise, that should remove tension, and just lift it up and over. I'm not removing it off of all the pulleys, so I'm going to hold tension as I release my tool. That way I can use a bungee cord, secure the belt over here so that it can stay somewhat in position for later when I reinstall it. We're going to have to remove this bracket that has 3 13mm mounting nuts on it and 1 13mm headed bolt. With those out, you should be able to remove that bracket, set it aside. Let's unplug these two connectors here. This one, there's a tab underneath that you have to pry down on. Once you pry down, you should be able to remove this. And then this one, tab on top, press it, push this back. This will get the wiring harness further away and give us some space to pull the compressor up and out. 15mm socket, remove this bolt, and there's one on the other side as well. Take that out. At this point, there's a bolt right back here. There should be. Mine is missing because the ear is broken off of the AC compressor, but there's a 13mm headed bolt going straight down into the head. Remove it. Now you should be able to lift this up and out. A lot of times it does get stuck, so use a pry bar. There we go. Set this aside over here. With a flathead screwdriver or anything else that you have that'll get in here, pry the lock open on this connector. Oh, this completely came off, that's all right. We'll put it back later. Right over here, you'll have a tab to squeeze and wiggle the connector until it pops off. And now we can unthread our coolant temperature sensor. A 19mm socket or wrench fits over this. I don't actually have a socket with a ratchet combination that fits, so I have to put a wrench on it and wrench the sensor off of here. Break it free. If you have a ratcheting wrench, that would help at this point. Once you go most of the way out, you should be able to unthread it by hand. Keep in mind, some coolant might come out. There we go. There's your sensor. Clean up the area and make sure that this isn't completely rusty and the threads are good. Take the new sensor, and it does have an O-ring on it, so no need to install thread sealer on the threads. And you want to thread it on by hand. Make sure it goes on nice and smooth. This is not bottomed out yet, obviously, but it does get a little tighter as you thread it on. So I'm just going to put my wrench back on here and snug it up. If you noticed on the original sensor, it wasn't completely bottomed out. So that's basically what I'm going for here. Just nice and snug. The connector on the old one was on this side, so I'm going to leave it like this. I have about 2, maybe 3 threads sticking out. That matches the original. So at this point, we can plug it in, line up the connector, plug it in, make sure it clicks. And if your lock popped out, slide it back in. There we go, clip that in. Now grab the AC compressor and slide it back in place. Make sure you don't pinch any wires on the back side here. You could either push these dowels in on the back side, just tap them out with a hammer. Mine are seized, so I can't really do that. They're just stuck. So I'm going to take a rubber mallet, tap the AC compressor down into place. Just make sure you don't tap on the line or connector or anything like that. All right, I got this one lined up and started. Let's do the same to the other side. All right, they're both started. Let's snug them both up. If you still have your bolt back there, install it now. 30 foot-pounds is the torque for the 2 front bolts. And that rear bolt is supposed to get torqued to 30 foot-pounds. Plug in your electrical connectors. Make sure they click. I didn't hear it, but I did feel it on that one, and it is locked in. Same over here. There we go. Reinstall this bracket. And put on the mounting hardware for it. And torque these to 21 foot-pounds. All right. Reinstall your 3/8 drive tool, pull tension off the tensioner, and put the belt back over the AC. And I'm going to double check every other pulley. It looks like it's still lined up. I never took anything else off, so everything else should still be lined up. So at this point, I'm going to remove my tool, double check once again. You can never be too sure about this because if it's off even one rib, it'll cut itself and start flying away as the engine is rotating. If you lost any coolant, it shouldn't have been much to begin with, but if you did, open up your radiator cap and make sure that the radiator is still full. As you can see, mine is. There's coolant all over the radiator cap. If yours is not, top it off to the proper level, make sure it's full, and of course check your overflow to make sure that is full as well.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.